I come from the cold waters of Cornwall in the UK, where I live and surf with my family. Cornwall has not only inspired me to become a surfer, but also a writer and a geographer, passionate about celebrating emerging surf cultures. I think that surfing is a wonderful way to engage with communities and explore critical issues of sustainability. I am particularly attracted to the off-the-beaten-track locations. I call these places the brilliant corners, and I'm on a journey to discover what we can learn from the brilliant corners of the world. We kicked off our adventure in the ghostly old French taxis of Antananarivo.
I've never been in a city with similar energy to Antananarivo.
Travelled to Tulear.
Voilà. Merci, Sam. Coffee on the road.
And now we're feeling at home with Blair Rogers at Madagascar Surf Lodge in Anakao, the heartland of the Vezo, the legendary nomads of the Mozambique Channel.
I love the sea.
I have a lot of respect for them. They're like really good at everything they do.
All locals are amazing, beautiful people.
Having earned our stripes with the locals, Blair agrees to show us one of the secret spots to the south. It's a good chance to play around with the quiver. Me with a stubby twin fin fish and James on an asymmetrical tri-fin. But to access these secret spots with Blair, you have to give back to the local community. So this is one of the many Vezo fishing villages along the coastline, south of Anakao, and there's a really high concentration of secret spots in this area, mostly unsurfed reef breaks, and it'd be very easy for the surf operators to just bring the foreign guests in without giving much to the local community. But one of the things that Blair supports in this area is for every surf guest that does come, they contribute a little bit of money to the local school, and that gives a brighter future to the custodians of these resources, this fishing community, these waves, this area, giving them access to better education. Every surfer pays a small fee for Blair to buy a school kit for the village, and guest by guest he's working his way through supporting hundreds of kids in the area. Mike, James and I take that figure from 280 to 283. But a lot of these kids see so few outsiders, they're terrified by Vahasa or foreigners. Salama.
David.
David. Sam. Quel âge as-tu, David? 8 ans. Blair explains that although the schools are free, parents don't have enough money to buy the necessary stationery to send the kids to school. So his idea was that for every surfer who wants to come to this area, they have to sponsor a kid to help him or her buy the school stationery. Voilà. Voilà. C'est bon? D'accord? Yeah. David is still terrified by me, James and Mike, but Blair cheers him up. While it's easy to romanticize remote subsistence communities, imagine not having access to decent education, a chance to explore ideas and exercise the mind, perhaps only to yearn to get back to your roots and live a humble, simple and subsistence lifestyle, with some good books and some good waves for company. We soon develop a sound routine, our surf sessions in sync with the tide. There is a silvery light before the sky turns amber, burns out, then glows orange, fading to ice blue and now black, the moon the centre of a great night's sleep. And we're ready for the swell of the trip. We're so used to seeing the best in the world surf shallow reefs with beauty and brilliance that we forget how, for those of us not raised in these kinds of waves, these spots can be dicey and intimidating. There are wide swingers and coral heads poking through, but Mike reigns supreme out here, cat-like, his four-finned quadfish manoeuvring into the tightest of pockets.
Yeah, Blair's classic. Reminds me a bit of Jacques Cousteau kind of character. Just, yeah, captain of his boat and a cigarette in his mouth, just cruising the shores.
Flying down the line, same thing, drop back down, line it up again, pull in again. Got 3 barrels, came out, went, well, that counts for 3 waves. So just come straight back to the boat.
Really amazing tour guide. Yeah, since we've been here, we've had, well, some of the best waves of my life.
In waves of consequence, or the relative waves of consequence that we've had here, Blair's invaluable, because obviously we're from beach break backgrounds and we're comfortable in small sandy bottom waves, but when it gets onto a coral reef pass, you need someone who knows the waves. So to be out there with Blair's just completely invaluable. He encourages you to push yourself and also helps you navigate the reef as well, because without someone that knows it, it'd be so easy to get caught out, especially the long period swell is really lully. So you sit there with no waves in the middle of the ocean, then suddenly the horizon gets bumpy, the set wave comes, and if you don't have Blair helping you out, positioning you on the reef, A, you'd miss a lot of waves, and B, you'd probably get scraped across the reef quite a few times as well.
Thankfully, none of us got scraped across the reef too hard. But James's epic wipeout nearly turned his bones inside out. So it seemed a good idea to learn a little bit more about the kind of funeral celebrations called Farmadina, or the turning of the bones, we witnessed on the route to Sud. So I meet up with Mada Surf Lodge manageress Solange, just to get my facts right in case one of us finds the end of the road in a fatal wipeout.
Ny Malagasy, rehefa be, efa olo bevata, manao fety, misy la muzika, manao fety be, mandihy, mitsinjaky, de zay vao alevy. Fa rehefa olo tanora na zazakely, de tsy misy an'izay, fa alevy miaro tory, fiaretan-tory, mety ndraiky andro, 2 andro, 3 andro, de alevy normal, alevy moramora avao, misy mitomany, fa rehefa olo be de misy fety be satria ny Malagasy zany mieritreritry, fa rehefa olo be de mandeha lasa zanahary, de mitahy.
In these kinds of powerful Madagascan customs called fomba, music is used to allow a kind of possession called tromba, where Malagasy ancestral spirits are recalled to heal illness, resolve disputes and offer advice. In this way, the family unit extends far beyond the living to the long departed. No family member dies except in the literal sense, as their presence is recreated daily through memories. The ghost is then a part of the fabric of every member of the living community. On our last night, it seemed a good idea to celebrate our ancestors through a party and hire a local Kabosi guitar band to play some Saligi music, delivering a wonderful energy. To the upbeat soundtrack, we maximise the last squeeze of swell. Having revealed the infamous limbo dance developed by his ancestors, the tin miners of Cornwall back in the 1600s, Mike is still possessed by last night's music, while James is practicing his breakdancing. And with all this talk of funerals, I bust out a coffin ride. When I go down, whether it's on the road or at home in Cornwall, This is how I'd like to pass to the other side. In a coffin ride, my bones turn to salt water. We say a reluctant veluma to the community and head back to Tulear. I've read about Tulear as being described as a scorching hellhole, and the best thing to do is to get out as fast as you can if it's already too late to avoid coming in the first place. I completely disagree. Just check out the market and you'll confirm that this place is a Malagasy centre of joie de vivre. Puss are busy ferrying people back and forth, local beats blast out, bright coloured foods, the zebu meat market, and of course fresh fish freshly caught by the Vezo. At the flea market, second-hand clothes resell in bulk bundles to create a whole new microeconomy that allows literally thousands of Malagasy families all over the country to earn a living, and the rest to buy whatever they want at rock-bottom prices. That afternoon we meet up with our driver Eric and his family for food, fueling up for the long journey back to Tana, into a wide open landscape and the rocky world of Asalo, famous for its limestone topography known as Singi. Well, this is a geologist's dream, limestone rocks rising from the ground and scratching at the sky like skeletons' fingernails. Singi is an interesting play on words. It means tiptoeing in Malagasy, as if a hostile terrain can be made welcoming. The whole place looks cavernous, fissured, sucking down air and sucking out life. The limestone was made from dead animals in oceans, migrated through geological time, their calcium carbonate and gypsum dissolving through acids in weather and rain to bring the skeleton out to rust. James's camera seems to click in harmony with the light changes that dance in perfect geometry through this wide place. If you could mark it wilderness, this would be your line, and we strike lucky with the evening light. In its geographical isolation off the coast of Africa, this fifth largest island on the planet has fostered a world of spiny cactus trees and massive baobabs that look like the preferred food of the Jurassic dinosaurs. Nowhere on Earth exhibits such a degree of both biodiversity, the sheer range of plants and animals, and endemicity, the state of existing nowhere else. A good description for the ghostly taxis of Antananarivo.
Une goutte de sueur fait déborder le blues, sentiment de loose, c'est cafard dans mes shoes. Vendre du rêve est devenu un cauchemar. Ma journée démarre, j'en ai marre.
In recent years, there has been an increasing celebration of the unrivaled biodiversity and cultural heritage of Madagascar, and a new generation have started a farming revolution to stop destroying the island's lush rainforests through ancient slash-and-burn agriculture for charcoal production that has stripped so much of the nation's topsoil. Like everywhere on the planet, we have to sustain our biodiversity. This is the network of life that we depend on, extending across our coral reefs and deep into our oceans. And hopefully fresh governments will set up a better future.
Meeting the Malagasy has been kind of an eye-opener. I live pretty simply, but I feel they've got it absolutely dialed and they're super happy with the way they live, and they just get on with their day-to-day tasks, and they work super hard and they work together. Yeah, it just shows like you don't really need much to be happy.
The Madagascan approach to life is day-to-day, is totally centred in the present, and it seems to enliven interactions on a really immediate basis. There seems to be very few preconceptions and ideas about who someone is based on the colour of their skin or how they talk to you or how an interaction goes. Everything is taken at face value and very immediately. And that seems to talk to the positive nature of humanity. I think I'm just going to take back loads of vignettes of life here, in much the same way that the Madagascan people live immediately and in the present in their own small worlds. I think that will be my creative outtake, and that's going to build up to the richness of Madagascar as an island.
The most memorable thing about this trip would probably watching all the kids just riding anything they could find on the beach. There was a small little window within the tide that they could go out, and as soon as that window was on, everyone was out there and laughing and doing somersaults into the sea, and being amongst that was just absolutely incredible.
We spend our last night back in the incredible Ranamafana. This is a physically and spiritually rich and enormous island, but it is also puzzling and complex, where the roles of faddies or taboos are drilled into Malagasys from childhood. Their power is absolute because they come from the ancestors. In fact, the Malagasy word for excuse me and please is azafadi, literally may it not be a taboo to me. But in many ways, a Malagasy faddy is no different than formalities drilled into my life since birth, like not being a disrespectful surf traveller. This has been a first-class trip to a first-class brilliant corner, and I cannot help but celebrate the Vezo. They are modest and clever, valuing perseverance, integrity and friendship. And if the kids don't go to school, they learn through doing, through teamwork. The Vezo are proud, determined and brilliant in the water, and I'm sure more and more Vezo will become first-class wave riders, especially as they are descended from mermaids, perhaps paving the way for a new generation of girls leading the charge. As surfers, we share a lot in common, both nomads of the sea. Next time on Brilliant Corners, I'm travelling to Papua New Guinea to see a cutting-edge model of sustainable surf tourism.
It's good because someone can't just come in and say, oh, I'm going to just build a resort here, and you throw some money at someone and you put something up and go. You've got to make sure that the whole clan is actually happy with what you're doing.
Very good. I'm happy about tourism.
We mothers, we are the owner, not the men.
Learn about the woodboard culture.
Well, for thousands of years, PNG kids or pickaninnies have ridden broken bits of wood called palangs or splinters to make alea and papo boards.
Yeah, palang riding, it started so many years ago.
And see the power of the pink nose revolution that is empowering women on the front line of surfing's known frontiers.
I feel happy to surf with the champion. Thanks.
I come from the cold waters of Cornwall in the UK, where I surf with my family. I think that surfing is a wonderful way to engage with communities. And I'm on a journey to discover what we can learn from the brilliant corners of the world.
Do you like that? Well, if so, subscribe over there and then watch more videos over there. And then tell us your favorite videos down there. It's a 3-step process. Do them all now.